Hello students, welcome to Biology Tutorial Hub channel. Today we are going to do questions on the reproductive structure and pollination of non-flowering and flowering plants. ዛሬ አሪፍ ጥያቄዎችን እንሰራለን። በጣም ደረጃቸው የጠበቁ ጥያቄዎች። ይሄ ጥያቄ ለ10ኛ ክፍሎች ብቻ ሳይሆን ለ12ኛ ክፍሎች ዘንድሮ ማትሪክ ለምትፈተኑት ስለሚጠቅሟችሁ እነዚህን ጥያቄዎች አብረን እንስራቸው። Good. Question number 1. What are the reproductive structure of a pine tree, a type of gymnosperm? A. Flowers and fruits. B. Spores and sporangia. C. Male and female cones. D. Stamens and pistils. Which one is the correct answer? What are the reproductive structure of a pine tree from the given alternatives? Good, I think you got the answer. The correct answer is C. Male and female cones are the reproductive structure of a pine tree or the reproductive structure of gymnosperm. Choice A. Flowers and fruits are the reproductive structure of flowering plants. Spores and sporangia, these are the reproductive structure of ferns. Stamens and pistils, these are again the reproductive structure of flowering plants. So the correct answer for question number 1 is C. Male and female cones are the reproductive structure of gymnosperm plants. Good. Question number 2. How does pollination primarily occur in pine trees? A. By insects. B. By water. C. By birds. C. By wind. How does pollination primarily occur in pine trees or gymnosperm plants? Find the correct answer. Good. The correct answer is D. By wind. So wind is the primary agent for pollination in gymnosperm plants or in pine trees. Most flowering plants, their reproductive agents are insects or birds. And by water, this is the primarily agent for transfer of spore from one area to another area in moss and what? Ferns. So the correct answer for question number 2 is D, by wind. Good. Question number 3. In the life cycle of a pine tree, what is the process where the male and the female gamete unites? A. Pollination. B. Fertilization. C. Germination. D. Dispersal. Which one is the correct answer? What's the name of the process where the male and the female gametes unite? And this process is called what? Think? It is simple, yeah? The correct answer is B. Fertilization. Yeah, fertilization is the process where the male and the female gametes unite. So the correct answer is B. Pollination is simply the transfer of pollen grain from the male reproductive structure to the female reproductive structure, that's known as pollination. Germination is the development of seed embryo into seedling, and dispersal means the seed scattering. So the process where the male and the female gametes unite, that process known as fertilization. Good. So the correct answer for question number 3 is B. Question number 4. Where does the development of seed embryo occur in gymnosperms or conifer? What is conifer? Conifer is a group of gymnosperms. A group of gymnosperms, you know what? Conifer. So where does the development of seed embryo occur in gymnosperm? A. Inside the male cone. B. Inside the female cone. C. On the leaves of the plant. D. In the soil after pollination. Which one is the correct answer? Where does the development of the seed embryo occur in gymnosperm plants? Good. The correct answer is B. Inside the female cone. So the development of seed embryo occur in gymnosperms inside the female cone. It is not inside the male cone. It is not on the leaf of plants. It is not in the soil after fertilization. but the development of seed embryo or embryo occur in a gymnosperm inside the female cone. So the correct answer for question number 4 is B. Question number 5, if a strong wind is blowing through a pine forest, which process in the pine's life cycle would be most directly assisted? A, fertilization, B, photosynthesis, C, seed germination, D, pollination. Yes, there is a strong wind blowing through a pine forest. So which process in the pine life cycle would be most directly assisted by this strong wind? Is that fertilization? Is that photosynthesis? Is that seed germination or pollination? Interesting question. Find the correct answer. ትክክለኛው መልስ ማን ነው? ተማሪዎች እየተከታተላችሁ the correct answer is D, pollination, because pollination is assisted by wind in pine, in gymnosperm plants or in the pine's life cycle. Seed germination, for seed germination, wind is not necessary. For fertilization, wind is not necessary. For photosynthesis, wind is not necessary. So the strong wind is important to assist pollination, to transfer pollen grain from the male cone to the female cone. Good. Question number 6. What happened to a mature female cone that allows for the release of seeds? A, it falls to the ground and decomposes. B, it is eaten by animals. C, it dries and opens. D, it develops into a fruit. There is a mature female cone that allows for the release of seeds. Yes? What happens to release these seeds? That should be fell on the ground and decomposes? Is that eaten by animals? Is that it dries and opens or it develops into a fruit? Good, the correct answer is C. It dries and opens. And when the environment is favorable, it can grow into a new plant or a new gymnosperm plant. ጥያቄው ምንድነው? ፊሜል ኮን ማቹር ሆነ፣ ስለዚህ ድራይድ ይሆናል፣ ይደርቃል፣ ከዛ በኋላ ኦፕን ይሆናል፣ ሲዱ ይለቃል። ያ ሲዱ ጥሩ ኢንቫይሮንመንት ካገኘ ይበቅላል፣ በቅሎ ሌላ ዛፍ ይሆናል ማለት ነው። So the correct answer is C for question number 6. Good. Question number 7. What is the collective term for the male part of a flower which consists of the filament and the anther? A, pistil, B, petals, C, stamen or androecium, D, sepals or calyx. What's the collective name or the collective term for the male part of a flower that consists of the filament and the anther? Is that gynoecium? Is that corolla? Is that androecium or calyx? Join the correct answer? የወንዱ የአበባ ክፍል ምን ይባላል? Good, the correct answer is C, stamen or androecium. Pistil የሴቷ ነው። Petal is the colored part of the flower ነው። Sepals protect the stamens and the pistils from physical or mechanical damage. So the correct answer for question number 7 is C. Question number 8, the female part of the flower, the pistil, consists of which 3 parts? A, anther, filament and pollen. B, sepal, petal, stamen. C, ovaries, style and stigma. D, radicle, plumule and cotyledon. The pistil consists of which 3 parts? That choice A, choice B, choice C or choice D? Which one is the correct answer from the given alternatives? Good, I think all of you got the answer. The correct answer is C. Pistil consists of ovary, style and stigma. These are the 3 parts of the female reproductive structure or the pistil. So the correct answer is C. Ovary, style and stigma are the 3 parts of the pistil. ጉድ እነዚህ ሶስቱን ነው የሚይዘው። አንተር ፊላሜንት ፖለን እነዚህ የወንዱ ናቸው፣ ስቴመን ነው። ሴፓል፣ ፔታል፣ ስቴመን እነዚህ ጭራሽ አይገናኙም። ሴፓልም ስቴመን እና ፒስትል አደጋ እንዳይደርስባቸው የሚከላከል ነው። ፔታልም ከለር ፓርት ኦፍ ፍላወር ነው፣ ኢንሴክቶችን በርዶችን አትራክት የሚያደርግ ነው። ስቴመንም የወንዱ የአበባ ክፍል ነው። ራዲክል፣ ፕሉማል፣ ኮቶይደን ይሄ ከሲድ ጋር የተገናኘ ነው፣ እናገርበታለን በሌላ ጊዜ። ጉድ ሶ ዘ ኮሬክት አንሰር ፎር ኩዌሽን ነምበር 8 ኢዝ ሲ። ጉድ question number 9, what is the primary function of the brightly colored petals on a flower? A, to protect the inner flora parts. B, to carry out photosynthesis. C, to attract pollinating agents like insects. D, to produce pollen grains. What the primary function of petals? Petals are what? They are colorful. They have bright color. Why they have such kind of bright color? What the primary function of petals from the given alternatives? Good. The correct answer for question number 9 is C, to attract pollinating agents like insects. That is the reason why petals in most cases are colorful. And the truth protects the inner flora parts. ይሄ መስራ ነው የሴፓል ስራ ነው። Sepal is important to protect the inner flora parts, especially this stamens and pistil. To carry out photosynthesis ይሄ ቅጠል ላይ ነው የሚካሄደው፣ ከፍላወር ጋር አይገናኝም። C, to produce pollen grains. pollen grain produce የሚያደርገው አንተር ነው፣ የወንዱ ወይም የስቴመኑ ፓርት። ስለዚህ correct answer for question number 9 is C, to attract agents like insects. Question number 10, what is the main purpose of the sepals? A, to produce the male gamete. B, to attract insects. C, to protect the lower part of the male and the female flora parts. D, to develop into the fruit after fertilization. What is the main purpose of the sepals in flowering plants? Which one is the correct answer? Which one is the correct answer? Good. The correct answer is C. The main purpose of the sepals is to protect the lower part of the male and the female floral parts. So that's the correct answer. To produce the female gamete ፕሮዱስ የሚያደርገው ማን ነው? ኦቪዩል ነው። ኦቪዩል የሚያም ፓርት ነው፣ የፒስትል ፓርት ነው። ጉድ ኦቫር ውስጥ የሚገኝ የፒስትል ፓርት ነው ኦቪዩል። ቱ አትራክት ኢንሴክትስ ቅድም ልትነጋገር ነው፣ ፔታል ናቸው። ፔታል ነው አትራክት የሚያደርጉት። ቱ ዲቨሎፕ ኢንቱ ዘ ፍሩት አፍተር ፈርቲላይዜሽን ወደ ፍሩት የሚያደርገው ማን ነው? ኦቫሪ ነው። ስለዚህ የታችኛውን የፍሎራ ፓርት የታችኛውን የሜል የፊሜል ፍሎራ ፓርትስ ፕሮቴክት ማድረግ ነው የሴፓል ስራ። ጉድ ኩዌስችን ነምበር 11 A botanist observed a flower that has no petals and dull-colored sepal, but has large feathery stigmas. What is the most likely method of pollination? A, by birds. B, by wind. C, by insects. D, by water. A botanist observes what? A flower that has what? No petals and dull-colored sepals, but has large feathery stigmas. Such kind of flowers are most probably pollinated by which agents from the given alternatives? Good. The correct answer is B, by wind. So most flowering plants have no petals and dull-colored sepals, and if they have feathery stigmas, they are mostly pollinated by wind. So wind is the pollinating agent for such kind of flowers. Good. So the correct answer for question number 11 is B, by wind. By birds and by insects colorful ከሆነ ነው፣ ፔታሉ colorful ስለሆነ ነው። Good. Question number 12, What is the correct definition of pollination in flowering plants? A. The fusion of male and female gametes. B. The transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma. C. The development of a seed into a seedling. D. The scattering of seeds away from the parent plant. What's the correct definition of pollination from the given alternatives in flowering plants? Pollination. Is that the fusion of male and female gametes? Is that the transfer of pollen grain from the anther to the stigma? Is that the development of seed into seedling? Is that the scattering of seeds away from the parent plant? So the correct answer for question number 12 is B. Pollination is the transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma. Good. A. The fusion of male and female gametes. What's the correct answer? Or what's the correct word? The process of the fusion of male and female gametes. This is called fertilization. C. The development of a seed into seedlings. This is called what? This is called germination, or can say seed germination. D. The scattering of seeds away from the parent plant. This is known as dispersal, or you can say seed dispersal. So the correct answer for question number 12 is B. Pollination is the transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma. Good. Question number 13. What's the key difference between a fruit and a seed? Interesting question. What's the key difference between a fruit and a seed? A. A fruit is a matured ovule, while a seed is a matured ovary. B. A fruit is a matured ovary, while a seed is a matured ovule. C. A fruit contains the embryo, while a seed contains the food reserve. D. A fruit is involved in fertilization, while a seed is involved in germination. Which one is the correct answer? What's the key difference between a fruit and a seed from the given alternatives? Good. The correct answer is B. A fruit is a matured ovary, while a seed is a matured ovule. So the correct answer for question number 13 is B. Yes? A matured ovule becomes what? Seed. A matured ovary becomes what? A fruit. So the correct answer is B. Good. Question number 14. What's the difference between self-pollination and cross-pollination? What's the difference between self-pollination and cross-pollination? What's pollination? Define organ. Pollination is the transfer of pollen grain from the male reproductive organ to the female reproductive organ or structure. That's known as pollination. What's the difference between self-pollination and cross-pollination? A. Self-pollination requires wind. Cross-pollination requires sacs. Good. B. Self-pollination is the transfer of pollen within one flower or plant. Cross-pollination is between different plants. C. Self-pollination leads to a fruit. Cross-pollination leads to a seed. D. Self-pollination occurs in gymnosperms. Cross-pollination occurs in angiosperms. So which one is the correct answer? What is the difference between self-pollination and cross-pollination from the given alternatives? Which one is the correct answer? ተማሪዎች ትክክለኛው መልስ ማን ነው? Good. The correct answer is B. Self-pollination is the transfer of pollen within one flower or a plant. However, cross-pollination is between different plants. The transfer of pollen grain between different plants is known as cross-pollination, whereas the transfer of pollen grain within one flower or the transfer of pollen grain within a plant, that is known as self-pollination. So the correct answer for question number 14 is B. Good. Question number 15. What structure grows from the pollen grain down through the style to reach the ovule? A pollen tube. B. A radicle. C. A filament. D. A hypocotyle. What's the name of the structure? That goes from what? From the pollen grain down through the style to reach the ovule. That structure is called what? From the given alternatives. It grows from what? The pollen grain. And grow downwards through the style, through the ovule. Good, the correct answer is A pollen tube. A pollen tube is a structure that grows from the pollen grain down through the style to reach the ovule. So the correct answer for question number 15 is A. The style is the sac that connects the stigma to the ovary. So style is the part of the pistil. So it connects the stigma to that ovary. And this pollen tube grow down through the style to the ovule. So the correct answer is A. Good. Question number 16. What sequence correctly describes the event after pollination in an angiosperm? A. Fertilization, then seed dispersal, then pollen tube formation, then fruit formation. Good. B. Pollen tube formation, then fertilization, then seed and fruit formation, then seed dispersal. C. Seed and fruit formation, then fertilization, then pollen tube formation, and finally seed dispersal. D. Fertilization, and then pollen tube formation, seed dispersal, and finally fruit formation. So which one is the correct sequence that describes the events after pollination in an angiosperm or in a flowering plant? After pollination, what's happened? After the transfer of pollen grain from the male reproductive structure to the female reproductive structure, or from the anther to the stigma. Good, the correct answer is what? B. Pollen tube formation, then fertilization, then seed and fruit formation, and finally seed dispersal. This is the correct event that describes after pollination in angiosperm plants. So the correct answer for question number 16 is B. Good, the last question. Question number 17. Which of the following options present an incorrectly paired flower part and its primary function? A. Filament, a stalk that supports the anther. B. Anther, produces and contains the male gamete or the pollen grains. C. Style, a sticky landing pad for pollen during pollination. D. Ovary, protecting the ovules and develops into the fruit after fertilization. Which one is incorrectly paired of flower part with its primary function? Which one is incorrectly paired from the given alternatives? Good, the correct answer for question number 17 is C. Style. This is incorrectly paired. A sticky landing pad for pollen during pollination is what? It is stigma, not style. What is style? Style is the stalk that connects the stigma to the ovary. Filament is the stalk that supports the anther. It's correctly paired. Anther produces and contains the male gametes or the pollen grains. It's correctly paired. C is incorrectly paired. D. Ovary protects the ovule and develop into the fruit after fertilization. Is correctly paired. So the incorrectly paired from the given alternative is C. It is not style rather than stigma, which is a sticky landing pad for pollen during pollination. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe this video. But share ማድረጋችሁን አትርሱ። ኮመንትን በጣም ፈልጋለሁ። ኮመንት አድርጉ። እስኪ ኮመንት አድርጉ። መጨመር ያለበትን መቀነስ ያለበትን ኮመንት ብታደርጉ ጥሩ ነው። ለሌሎችም ተማሪዎች አካፍሏቸው። Thank you for watching. Goodbye.